The story, by the way, that I've been telling people ivermectin. Linda, is that not the one thing that I kept saying is not a single study that I've seen that shows that it works?
100%.
100% false. As you know what Sean Hannity has said month after month after month about ivermectin. But just in case you need a reminder, I want to give credit to Media Matters for putting together an awesome mashup. Here's a portion of that.
Ivermectin, as well as other proactive treatments and practices, were already helping COVID-19 patients all across the country. Therapeutics, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, Regeneron. When you talk about ivermectin and Regeneron and incredible therapeutics that are now being used to treat not just breakthrough cases, but all cases. That includes, yes, the monoclonal cocktail known as Regeneron, the Eli Lilly version of Regeneron, even, yes, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin. And listen, this is my business, so I'm constantly reading. They've never heard of Regeneron or ivermectin. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine that show that taken early, it can mitigate symptoms of COVID-19.
There's no evidence that it works.
Well, except for that evidence, I suppose, except for the fact that he talked about it just on his own program 25 times from December 2020 through early April 2022. There's not a lot of things that in just a couple of months I talk about 25 times on the show. That is a dedication to that. He repeatedly told his viewers that ivermectin was one of several incredible therapeutics. So he did not just mention it. He didn't just say this is a thing that some scientists are looking into. He said it is already helping people, not hypothetically helping people. It's already helping people. It was part of the strategy used by Fox to get people to not have any faith in the actual medical protection that was available, i.e. vaccination. They were continually rolling out one alternative after another: hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, colloidal silver, rubbing garlic in your armpits, anything to get people to think I don't have to get vaccinated. And what do you know? A lot of Fox viewers didn't get vaccinated. Needlessly, thousands of Fox viewers ended up dying. And so I can understand, Morgan, why he would want to change the record on his contribution to this topic.
Yeah, I mean, what was one of those quotes? He said, "Trust me, this is my business. I know what's going on here," as he's boosting this nonsense. And yeah, I mean, I think on this point, they went a little too far, and it was a pretty easy pivot from what has happened to then call out what they're doing. And you touched on it, that 1 million people have died from this, while you all were wasting time trying to mislead people. So what is that, right? Who are you? And what does that make you if you're willing to do that? And yeah, they politicize it. They were trying to make everybody focus on the mandates and this and that. But I don't know. I find when I'm talking about this on the ground, when you're just like 1 million people dead, wow. I mean, that's a tough thing to have to answer for.
100%. And by the way, feel free to have an open mind as a member of the media. After all, it could have ended up being the case that ivermectin was helpful. The fact that scientists were looking into it was a perfectly fine thing, but you can't jump way in advance of the studies and pretend that it's an alternative. And that's what they did. And that is bad enough by itself. But then once the studies come out, crickets, silence, study after study, including just in the last month, big analyses of the potential of ivermectin in this area showing that it was not found to help. And where is Sean Hannity now? Where this is his thing, he said, as Morgan quoted, but for some reason he's not interested once the actual information comes in. I want to give you just a few more of his specific quotes to give you an idea of how this information was presented to people. He says, "We're also going to discuss something often overlooked, and that is the incredible therapeutics that are now being used. Yes, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, you get to decide." Well, that is what he wants. He wants you to decide based on misinformation about something that could not have higher stakes, that the health, the life of you and your family members. It's not on him, a multi-million-dollar a year earning guy with a massive production staff who can bring on scientists and study authors and things like that to vet this information before presenting it to his audience. No, it's on you to decide. And
do your research.
Yeah, do your research, because he's not going to. I'm gonna skip ahead past this one too. On June 28th, he was on his radio show and he said, this COVID quote vaccine shot, again, this was always paired with mocking or producing suspicion in the vaccine. We do now have incredible therapeutics that are getting widespread use, including Regeneron and Ivermectin. Look into Ivermectin would be my advice. Look into Regeneron would be my advice. But again, do all that with the consultation of your doctor. But you're saying it's your advice. You're personally vouching for this. And it's not just him. Fox mentioned Ivermectin nearly 300 times. He actually was kind of a small fraction of that, considering, take a look at this mention by month. They covered Ivermectin more than we covered anything during this time. And it wasn't just their opinion people. In this last graphic you'll see, it was in prime time, but it was also in the rest of Fox. It was getting mentioned throughout. You could not tune into Fox News without receiving effectively unpaid free advertising for something we now know doesn't help fight COVID.
What's also weird about it is, I mean, Trump's Operation Warp Speed was what accelerated getting the vaccine out there. So the fact that Fox News was doubling down on this alternative to the vaccine when your demigod, whatever, was the one who was really pushing to get the vaccine out there is very weird. But as we know, it's to create something to have the political points, to score the political points over. And if it results in killing people, misleading people, having people further question government and all of medicine, well, so be it. A small price to pay to continue to win some seats in elections.
Exactly, you're 100% right about that. Let's also bear in mind, it is beneficial to the individual hosts. As we've talked about in the past, after a big election like 2020, people don't pay as much attention to the news. And last year, a lot of news outlets saw a big drop off in people paying attention. That for hosts can be terrifying. And so you look for something, what is it that gets people fired up? And they found that COVID misinformation filled that void. People wanted to be told, no, I don't have to be a part of the solution. I don't have to work with everyone else to beat this thing. There's some other shortcut. And so they tuned in droves to the people who provided that, whether it was hydroxychloroquine or anti-vaccine misinformation, ivermectin, colloidal silver, all of that. It was an incredibly lucrative thing. It generated big audiences for people on Fox, and there was a ton of misinformation on platforms like YouTube as well. People who had previously mocked the idea of being anti-vaccine, suddenly when their views were going down, that quote unquote value was no longer there. They valued something else, and it was getting right wingers to tune in. Anyway.
Yeah, right. Of course, the profit is also a big motivator. And another topic that will lead us down a rabbit hole is big tech, social media, all these firms, and how much money they've made off of spreading this and continuing to get people into their rabbit holes. Break them up. Break them up.
100%.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.